In September, Rotor and Wing was invited to tag along on rescue missions with the Coast Guard and the Army National Guard as they plucked residents of North Carolina from the devastating floodwaters left by Hurricane Florence. All right, so Rotor and Wing here. We are at Elizabeth City Coast Guard Base. We're about to get on this MH-60 Tanga. After taking off from Elizabeth City, we headed southeast, and as we neared the flood areas, we saw many flooded farm fields where millions of hogs, chickens, and turkeys drowned inside their enclosures when the water rose and they could not escape. Much of the day was spent relaying info to rescue boats that were below us, directing them to places where we knew there to be folks who needed rescue, where the boats could get but the helicopters weren't needed. Later, in a place a resident told me was called Possum Ridge, North Carolina, we put down and rescued a family of 4 and 2 dogs from an area that had not yet been flooded but would soon be. At another point, we deployed rescue swimmer Jake Warren to check on a resident inside a house. The man declined to be rescued, and we moved on after recovering Warren. Our mission on September 19th, out of Raleigh with the National Guard, was wide area search and rescue, and to deliver a pallet of water and one of food to a high school football field near Lumberton, North Carolina. During a 2.5-hour flight, we would spend about 1.5 hours performing general search over flooded towns and farm fields. On the flight line outside the guard hangar near Raleigh-Durham International Airport are several Airbus UH-72 Lakota utility aircraft, another Chinook, and a dozen or so UH-60 Blackhawks that are the most common utility aircraft flying in Florence's wake. On September 18th alone, crews and aircraft from the Air and Army National Guard, the U.S. Coast Guard, and the Air Force Auxiliary Civil Air Patrol flew 98 missions and performed 120 rescues, during which 225 passengers and 5 animals were plucked from the path of rising floodwaters. The Coast Guard on September 18th logged 200 hours of flight time during 47 missions and 76 rescues in the MH-60T aircraft flying from Elizabeth City and elsewhere. The Army National Guard flew 27 missions the same day for a total 113 flight hours, but were able to transport 155 passengers. On the way back to Raleigh, flying over chicken and hog farms flooded to the roofs, a call came in that someone was stuck in an attic and needed help. National Guard Sergeant Adam Alls was ordered to break out the night vision goggles and hand them up to the pilots. As soon as they could take on fuel and drop off their non-essential personnel, meaning our Rotor and Wing reporter, back in Raleigh, they would head back to the flood zone.